What if everything you thought you knew about the world map, about the size of countries, the climate of continents, the very location of places you dream of visiting, was fundamentally flawed? What if the mental atlas you carry in your head was wrong? This question hit me, not in a library, but on a humid afternoon in Southeast Asia. I was on a guided tour, and the guide, with complete confidence, shared a fun fact I'd heard 1,000 times before. He pointed towards a distant landmark and swore that a particular city lay just south of the equator. I smiled and nodded, accepting it as a piece of local trivia. But later that evening, a flicker of curiosity got the better of me. So I checked, and it was totally, unequivocally false. The city wasn't just a little off. It was hundreds of kilometers north of the equator. It wasn't even close. That small, seemingly insignificant moment sent me on an epic mission to fact-check the world's most common travel claims and geographical assumptions. Because I realized these blunders, these little misinformations, spread like wildfire. They get passed from guide to tourist, from blog post to conversation, until they become accepted truth. And they do more than just misinform. They subtly shape how we see the world and its people. So today, we're going to unmask 3 of the biggest geography myths out there. Let's start with blunder number 1. Canada is always cold. When you think of Canada, what comes to mind? For most people, it's a landscape of endless snow, icy hockey rinks, and winters that last for half the year. The Great White North. And while parts of Canada certainly live up to that reputation, painting the entire country with that brush is a massive oversimplification. Canada is the second largest country on Earth. Its climate is as diverse as its landscape. Let's start on the West Coast. The truth is, I absolutely melted in Vancouver in July. The city is nestled in a temperate rainforest. Summers are warm, sunny, and draw everyone outdoors. In recent years, heat waves have pushed temperatures to levels you'd expect in California, not Canada. The data backs it up. Average summer highs are comfortably in the low to mid-20s Celsius, creating a perfect climate for exploring its mountains and ocean fronts. Now, travel a few hours inland from Vancouver to the Okanagan Valley, and you'll find Kelowna. This region is a semi-arid desert, Canada's wine country. It absolutely hits beach weather. Summer temperatures here regularly soar past 30 degrees Celsius, or 86 Fahrenheit. The landscape is characterized by rolling hills, vast lakes, and thriving vineyards that produce world-class wines. It feels more like Napa Valley or parts of Spain than the stereotypical Canadian tundra. Let's head east. What about Windsor, Ontario? Geographically, it's one of Canada's southernmost cities. In fact, it's south of Detroit, Michigan. And its summers? Intensely humid. The climate here is much more aligned with the American Midwest, with hot, sticky days that send everyone searching for air conditioning. And what about those infamous winters? Even then, the stereotype crumbles. In Victoria, the capital of British Columbia, winters are so mild that flowers bloom in February. It has one of the mildest climates in the country, where heavy snowfall is a rare event that shuts the city down. The lesson here is simple. Canada is vast. Its climate varies wildly from the temperate rainforests of the Pacific coast to the arid interior, the humid continental heartland, and the frigid Arctic. To say it's always cold is to ignore the beautiful, complex reality of this enormous country. Now for blunder number 2, Africa is just desert. This is one of the most pervasive and damaging misconceptions of all. The word Africa often conjures a single image, a vast, monolithic expanse of sand dunes, acacia trees, and savanna animals under a scorching sun. While the Sahara Desert is indeed the world's largest hot desert and covers a significant portion of North Africa, it represents only one of the continent's incredibly diverse biomes. Africa is the second largest continent by both land area and population, home to 54 countries and a breathtaking array of environments. For instance, have you heard of the Congo Basin? It holds the second largest rainforest on the planet, after the Amazon. These are dense, humid jungles teeming with life, a world away from any desert. Think Africa is always hot? There is snow on Mount Kenya and Mount Kilimanjaro, year-round. These towering volcanic peaks are so high that their summits are covered in glaciers, despite being located near the equator. How about vineyards in South Africa? The Western Cape Province has a Mediterranean climate, with beautiful winelands that rival those in France or Italy, producing some of the world's finest wines. And yes, there are the iconic Serengeti grasslands, home to the Great Migration, but these savannas are ecosystems rich with seasonal rains and vibrant life, not barren wastelands. And don't forget the thousands of miles of stunning coastline. From the Mediterranean shores of Morocco and Tunisia to the tropical beaches of Zanzibar and the rugged coastline of the Cape of Good Hope, Africa's coastal diversity is astounding. The Sahara is undeniably big, a formidable and beautiful force of nature. But it is not the whole story. To define Africa by the Sahara is like defining all of North America by the Mojave Desert. It's a continent of snowy mountains, dense jungles, sprawling cities, and everything in between. This brings us to blunder number 3. Italy is just Rome. For many travelers, Italy is a pilgrimage to one place, the Eternal City. Rome, with its colossal history, the Colosseum, the Vatican, the Trevi Fountain. It's a city that rightly captures the world's imagination. And Rome is epic, yes. It's a living museum, a chaotic and beautiful heart of Western civilization. But to think of Italy as just Rome is to miss the soul of the country. Italy wasn't a unified nation until the late 19th century. Before that, it was a collection of city-states, kingdoms, and republics, each with its own dialect, cuisine, and identity. That fierce regionalism is still alive today. Travel south to Sicily, and you'll find a world unto itself. Explore Sicily's stunning Baroque towns, a testament to a defiant rebirth after a devastating earthquake in 1693. The island's culture is a rich tapestry woven from Greek, Roman, Arab, Norman, and Spanish influences. Hop over to the island of Sardinia, with its fiercely independent spirit and a language that's distinct from Italian. Its turquoise coves and white sand beaches are considered some of the most beautiful in the Mediterranean, a paradise for sailors and sun-seekers. Head north, and you'll find the Dolomites' alpine peaks. This region feels more Austrian than Italian, a land of dramatic mountain passes, charming ski villages, and hearty cuisine. It's a world away from the sun-baked south, and we haven't even talked about the food. Visit Emilia-Romagna, Italy's food heaven, the home of prosciutto di Parma, Parmigiano Reggiano, and traditional balsamic vinegar. Each of Italy's 20 regions has its own culinary identity. Each region feels like a different country. To see Italy is to see 20 countries in one. So, how did I verify all this? How can you separate geographical fact from fiction? It wasn't about just one tool. It was about becoming a digital detective. I started with high-resolution satellite imagery. It's an incredible tool that lets you see the reality on the ground, from the green canopy of the Congo to the arid plains of the Okanagan Valley. Then, I looked at climate normals. National weather services and meteorological organizations publish decades of data on temperature, precipitation, and more. This data tells a story that no single anecdote can. I used elevation data on open-source maps. This helps you understand why Mount Kenya has snow and why coastal areas have different climates from inland regions. I dove into academic databases and national statistics. University research, geological surveys, and census data provide a layer of peer-reviewed depth that you can't get from a travel blog. But my favorite aha moment was realizing how much our view is distorted by the map itself. Most of us grew up with the Mercator projection, a map designed for nautical navigation. It preserves angles but wildly distorts area, making countries near the poles like Canada and Greenland look enormous, while shrinking continents near the equator like Africa. The map wasn't wrong. My mental model, shaped by that map, was. So why does any of this matter? Because when we flatten places into simple stereotypes, we flatten people. We erase the diversity of over 38 million Canadians, over 1.3 billion Africans, and 60 million Italians. These misconceptions shape everything from foreign policy and investment decisions to prejudice and, on a personal level, even how and where we spend our travel money. Believing Africa is only desert and poverty might stop you from exploring its vibrant cities and investing in its local economies. So, how can you travel smarter and see the world more clearly? First, check at least 2 reliable sources before repeating a fun fact. Second, when you look at a map, look at the satellite view and the terrain, not just a pin on a blank background. See the mountains, forests, and cities for yourself. And third, read local news outlets, ask locals questions with genuine curiosity, and verify what you hear with data when you can. Now, it's your turn. What's the biggest geographic blunder you've ever heard, or perhaps even believed yourself? Drop it in the comments. I'll be reading through them, and I'll pick the wildest, most interesting ones to fact-check in a future video. Because the world is always messier, richer, and far more surprising than the myths we tell about it. Question the map, then go see for yourself.